Picture this. You're 17, finally living the dream, flying first class on a ticket your mom insisted you deserved. But let's be real, the whole thing feels about as natural as wearing a tux to breakfast. So, there I am, Elijah Vance, art nerd from New York, clutching my old leather journal like it's a lucky charm, staring out at the kind of luxury I'd only seen through the sliver of a parting curtain, cream-colored seats, wood paneling that shines, glassware you could probably sell on eBay for a month's rent. The flight attendants are all smiles, all "Mr. Vance, can I get you anything?" And for a second, I let myself relax. Just a kid about to spend the summer at the Florence Academy of Art. Nothing more, nothing less. Except, life loves a plot twist. I'd barely settled in, put my satchel away, when I noticed her. The flight attendant with the kind of helmet hair only gravity could envy, moving like she owned the sky. Her name tag read Susan Miller. She handed me juice, looked right through me, and before I could even open my sketchbook, I felt those eyes. You ever get the sense someone's judging you without a word? Yeah, that happened at IT. Started innocent, boarding pass, ID, the usual. But then Susan's tone turned icy, just loud enough for the whole cabin to hear, asking me to verify my ticket for the second, maybe third, time. I gave her everything, boarding pass, license. She held them with the tips of her fingers, like she was afraid they'd rub off on her. The whole cabin went quiet. I could feel people looking, some awkward, some curious, a few downright suspicious. She asked if I was sure I belonged here, said mistakes happen. Maybe I meant to be in business or, economy. The implication hung in the air. Someone like me, young, black, solo, didn't just show up in first class, at least not without raising eyebrows. I could feel that old familiar burn in my chest. Anyone who's ever been on the wrong end of an accusation knows it. The flush up your neck, the twist in your gut, the shame that isn't yours but sticks anyway. But I remembered my mom's voice. Dignity, Eli. Let their ignorance be their burden, not yours. So I gave Susan the calmest smile I could muster and told her, politely but firmly, that maybe she ought to check her manifest. I was staying put. Of course, that just made her dig in harder, muttering about protocols and integrity of the cabin. I could tell she thought she was being careful, doing her job, but every word just made the line between diligence and something uglier stand out sharper. The older businessman across the aisle finally snapped, asking if the seat was his or not so the rest of them could get on with their champagne. The Vogue model up front started recording on her phone, which I clocked out of the corner of my eye. Yeah, people were watching, and not in a good way. Then, the real twist. The cabin door, already sealed, swung open. In walked Maria, the gate agent from check-in, her face tight. But behind her, a silhouette, the kind that fills a room before they even say a word. My mom, Isabel Vance, CEO of Global Wings Airlines. She was in full armor, midnight blue power suit, gaze sharp as glass. Susan tried to bluster, but the recognition was instant, draining all the color from her face. My mom didn't raise her voice. She didn't have to. She just asked, point blank, what required such a public clarification for her son's ticket. Each question landed like a chess move, methodical, precise, and brutal. Susan stumbled, offered excuses, tried to make it about my age, about due diligence, but the hole was too deep. My mom's apology to the cabin was a masterclass in control, promising that the matter would be addressed with the gravity it warrants. Then she ordered Susan off the flight, just like that. The entire cabin exhaled at once, whispering, a few casting me glances that were equal parts relief and embarrassment. Champagne was offered, twice. I stuck to water, my hands still trembling. After the dust settled, my mom checked on me. Soft, just for a second. She told me the flight would be a bit delayed, but that no one under her leadership would treat anyone that way. Not her son, not anyone. The rest of the trip, you could have heard a pin drop. Service was flawless, the new attendant respectful. Even the businessman from earlier nodded at me with a new kind of respect. Later, my mom sat across the aisle, quietly asking for a full, honest account. She listened to every detail. Susan's tone, her questions, the way she made me feel. She didn't interrupt or try to comfort me until I was done, then told me, with that CEO steel, that an immediate and thorough investigation would follow. Zero tolerance, she said, for discrimination of any kind. Not just for me, but for everyone. She promised me, and herself, that the company she built would be better. When we landed in Rome, I waited in the lounge for my Florence connection. My mom was on the phone nonstop. Suspension, HR, every witness statement, every prior complaint pulled from Susan's record. Turns out, there'd been other complaints, all buried by years and a strong union. But the pattern was there, a habit of treating anyone other as lesser. The model from 1D, Isabella Rossi, shared her video, clear evidence of Susan's condescension and the infamous someone of your demographic line. That video sealed Susan's fate. Her disciplinary hearing was brutal. She claimed she was just doing her job, tried to make it about my age, but HR had seen it all before. The video, the testimonies, the record, there was no defending it. She was fired on the spot, no neutral reference, her reputation done. Her own privilege, the kind she'd tried to deny me, was gone. But here's the real lesson. You know what I mean? My mom didn't just let it end there. She used the whole mess as a catalyst for change. A total overhaul of Global Wing's anti-bias training, mandatory for every employee, top to bottom. They created new systems to catch subtle patterns early, set up safe channels for complaints, and started a scholarship program for kids like me, those who wouldn't normally see themselves in first class or the cockpit. My mom made it clear. Diversity isn't a box to check. It's the core of who we are. Our workforce must reflect the world we serve, she said. For me, that summer in Florence changed everything. My art grew deeper, sharper. I started painting people, not just as I saw them, but as they wanted to be seen, dignity and all. When I got home, I told my mom the whole ordeal sucked, but I was proud of how she turned it around, made it mean something more. She just smiled and said, "That's the job, Eli. That's leadership. We fix what we break, and we build better." So what do you think? Was Susan's karma just, or did Isabel go too far? Is a single firing enough, or does real change have to be systemic, ongoing, and honest? Drop your thoughts below. Let's talk about what justice and dignity should look like at 30,000 feet or right here on the ground. And if you value stories where karma doesn't miss, hit that like, share with someone who needs a reminder, and subscribe for more tales where integrity wins the day. Thanks for listening.